So today, number 18, there's this three-way bidding war. Philadelphia is Comcast. They're close to in your district, right? The Comcast headquarters.
They're right
They're
outside my district.
right
Yeah.
outside. Yeah, like 2 blocks outside though.
That's right.
I'm just basing on what you said about the love sign because I know roughly where those are. Anyway, today the three-way battle for what's it called? Time Warner. It's not called
Yep.
Time Warner anymore. It's called what's that thing called? Warner Discovery. I don't know what it's called. Anyway, the thing that owns CNN and Friends. Netflix wanted them, Comcast wanted them, and Paramount wanted them. And today they announced that Netflix has won at least the initial round. Wall Street Journal, Netflix mega deal will need the Trump administration's blessing. White House officials and Department of Justice are already scrutinizing the streaming company's $72 billion deal for Warner Brothers. This was only the part of the company that has HBO, the Warner Brothers library. That includes Friends. So we're talking about Ross and Rachel here, and then the CNN part, the part that CNN and the cable channels, that would be its own separate company. That's all Comcast wanted too. Paramount wanted the whole thing. Paramount's going to go to court and try to stop this. And again, as this headline suggests, there's some question of whether the government will allow there to be a combination of Netflix, the monster streamer, with the Warner Brothers things, including HBO. Patrick, do real people care about this? I know they care about the brands, but is this a populist issue at all? This particular deal that you think the public will be engaged in?
I don't see that, right? I don't see that. You've had the Trump administration, they get involved in some of these, they allow some of these. There's obviously been noises from this idea that, oh, we're now, from a policy perspective, oh, it's a populist, it's a populist coalition, it's a populist party now, and you would see them be more open to this type of antitrust scrutiny. But in general, when the rubber meets the road, that hasn't happened. Now, I will say, President Trump has had he has a lot of interest in media. He comes from media.
Yeah.
He has dealt with these people. So I think he may have a personal interest in this.
Yeah.
But from a philosophical standpoint,
Yeah.
I don't see the Republican Party having shifted its views on these issues.
Malcolm, when you mentioned antitrust and consolidation, you didn't mention Ross and Rachel, but is this the kind of deal that you think the Democrats should say, no, this won't be good for consumers, too much consolidation?
This is a perfect example of what I was talking about. But I think in some ways, one of the bigger challenges is that the Department of Justice isn't actually viewing these consolidations, viewing these deals through an impartial lens. Everything in this administration is viewed through, how close you are to Donald Trump personally, the direct engagement with him, the flattery, the ability for him and his family to possibly be a part of the deal. And so that to me is a real problem. And there's been at least some chatter and talk that, Netflix is not sort of, nice enough, I guess, to this administration. And so that's why they're going to get the scrutiny that, Paramount did not get when they blew up their company.
Right. All right. If 0 is no surprise at all, and 10 is abject shock, if you read a report in the Wall Street Journal that said President Trump opposes the deal because the Obamas have a relationship to Netflix, what would your reaction be? 0 is no surprise at all, and 10 is abject shock. Malcolm.
0.
Patrick.
I don't know, 4?
Dude, there's only one answer to that. You're 4 too high. 0. All right. Anyway, we'll see if that deal goes through. It's an interesting media story. Perhaps you've heard me talk about our good friends at Cozy Earth. Damn it, they're good. The bubble cuddle blanket, the towels, the sheets, and of course the pants, the t-shirts. I don't talk enough about the t-shirts. I probably should talk more about the t-shirts. But I do talk more than enough about the pants because once again, ladies and gentlemen, it happened again. I got an email from one of you saying, I bought my husband a pair of pants. He doesn't normally care what pants I buy him. He loved the pants so much, he asked me to buy him more. And then before I did, he bought them himself. He never buys clothes online for himself. This story sounds familiar to you because I hear from folks all the time. If you haven't bought the pants yet, you're thinking, whatever, the pants. Buy the fucking pants. They're really good. And now you can get them for 40% off. Everything on CozyEarth.com is 40% off if you use the promo code two-way. Go to CozyEarth.com, promo code two-way. Not sure how the sponsor would feel about me using profanity, but dear Cozy Earth, it's a manifestation of my appreciation for how great your stuff is. CozyEarth.com, promo code 2way.
They say that something that's easy is like a walk in the park. Well, easier than a walk in the park, hit the subscribe button, be part of the Two-Way community, never miss an episode, be part of our conversations. Thank you for your service to America.
And don't forget, you can now listen to the morning meeting and Two-Way Tonight on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.